He was the richest man in the East. His name carried weight. His land stretched farther than the eye could see. His house was filled with laughter, security, and peace. And in one single day, everything he had was taken from him. Not because he was corrupt, not because he was careless, but because he was faithful. This is the story of Job. In the land of Uz lived a man named Job. He was blameless and upright, a man who feared God and turned away from evil. His wealth was unmatched, thousands of sheep, camels, oxen, and servants. His influence was great, but his pride was not. Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters. They feasted together, celebrated life together, and their father watched over them with deep concern and love. When their celebrations ended, Job would rise early in the morning and offer sacrifices for each of them, not because they had sinned, but because they might have. Job feared God not out of habit, but out of reverence. He believed obedience mattered even when no one was watching, and heaven noticed. Beyond the world of men, beyond time and flesh, a gathering took place. The sons of God presented themselves before the Lord, and among them came the accuser, the one who questions every act of righteousness. The Lord spoke first.
Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one like him on the earth.
A blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil.
But the accuser answered with contempt.
Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him? Blessings follow him everywhere. Take them away, and he will curse you to your face.
And the Lord said,
Very well. Everything he has is in your power. Only the man himself you must not touch.
And so the test began. The first messenger arrived while Job was still standing in peace.
The oxen were plowing, the donkeys grazing, they took everything. The servants were killed.
Before Job could speak, another messenger ran in.
Fire fell from the sky. The sheep are gone. The servants are dead.
Then another voice broke through the shock.
The camels were stolen. The servants were slaughtered.
And finally, the last messenger arrived.
Your sons and daughters were together in the oldest brother's house. A great wind came from the wilderness. The house collapsed. None survived.
In one moment, Job lost his wealth. In one sentence, he lost his children. In one day, his life was shattered. Job stood in silence. Then he fell to the ground. He tore his robe, he shaved his head, and he worshipped. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And still, Job did not sin. But the accuser was not finished. Again he stood before the Lord.
Skin for skin. A man will give everything for his life. Strike his body, and he will curse you.
And the Lord answered, He is in your hand, but spare his life. Then the suffering moved from Job's world to Job himself. Pain covered his body from head to toe. Pain that never rested. Pain that stripped away sleep, dignity, and strength. He sat in ashes outside the city, scraping his wounds with broken pottery. The man who once stood in honor now sat alone. Even his wife broke under the weight of it.
Do you still hold on to your integrity?
She said.
Curse God and die.
Job answered quietly.
Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?
3 friends came to see him. When they saw Job, they did not recognize him. His suffering was so severe that they wept aloud. For 7 days and 7 nights they sat with him in silence, because his pain was beyond words. But silence did not last. You must have sinned, they said. God does not punish the innocent. Search yourself, confess, repent. But Job cried out in agony.
I am innocent. Why does God hunt me like an enemy? Why was I born just to suffer?
Job's words grew heavier, darker. He questioned the justice of God. He demanded answers. He begged for understanding. He did not turn away from God. He turned toward him. And then from the storm, God answered, "Who is this that darkens counsel without knowledge? Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Have you commanded the morning? Do you know the paths of the sea? Can you bind the stars or tame the Leviathan?" The questions came like thunder, not to crush Job, but to reveal the distance between human understanding and divine power. And Job finally understood. God was not cruel. God was not absent. God was God. Job answered softly, "I spoke of things I did not understand. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes see you." Job repented, not of sin, but of assuming he could fully comprehend the Almighty. Then the Lord turned to the friends. "You have not spoken rightly about me," he said. And he told Job to pray for them. And Job did. And when Job prayed, everything changed. The Lord restored his fortunes. He gave Job twice what he had before. New herds filled the land. New children filled the home. Joy returned where grief once lived. Job lived a long life and saw generations rise from his house. Not because he was rewarded for suffering, but because faith that survives loss is faith that cannot be destroyed. This is the story of Job. A story not about why we suffer, but about who we trust when everything is taken away.